Hey guys, Alex with Infotainment here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install LED headlights on your non-LED Wrangler. This headlight has a projector center with an LED ring around the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we need to pop the hood to gain access to the grille removal. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and remove 6 push pins across the top, and then there's actually 4 pressure clips on the bottom which just hold the grille in, so we'll go ahead and pull the grille straight out after we've removed those clips at the top. So we'll just take either a flathead screwdriver, a pry bar, or some type of trim removal tool. We'll go ahead and push up on the middle of the pin here and remove the whole center, and then use your pry tool to remove this. Once these have come out, we'll go ahead and set these aside. So once we removed those 6 clips across the top, so on either corner you need to lift up on the tab and start to fold the grille back here, and this will slowly release the push pins just like that. Grille is off, and we're going to go ahead and set this aside. Go ahead and start on the passenger side here. There's 3 10mm screws that hold this in. Power tools always make things a little easier, but you can use a hand ratchet. Just go ahead and hold the headlight because it will go ahead and fall out. Let's move straight out here, and then we will remove the wiring harness by pressing this little tab right here and pulling straight back. So we're going to go ahead and start with the driver's side wiring. There's 3 main plugs here. One actually goes to the original plug that came out of the headlight. The other one will actually go to the headlight. And then there's a 3rd connector here that will run across the top of the hood here and go to the passenger side headlight, which will then get plugged into the fuse box. So like I said, there's 3 main connectors here. 1, 2 into the back of the light, and then 1 that goes across. So the first connector we're going to use is going to be this guy here. This is the female side connector. We're going to take this and plug it straight into our factory wiring harness here. Wait till it clicks. The junction box here has a little 3M sticky tape on it. I'll probably use the fender liner right here, but you can get creative and hang it wherever you'd want. Just be careful, it is pretty sticky, so it's going to stick once. And probably won't stick again after that. So we'll tuck this back, and I'll stick that in a second. And then we're going to take our 20-AUG lead here, and this is actually going to go up across to the passenger side. And the way I typically route these is I'm going to come up and go through here and follow. There's a wire that runs across the crash bar up front here, and I'm going to go ahead and zip tie to that. And this will come through here and plug in to the passenger side harness, which we'll do next. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this whole shield right here to show you where I'm zip tying to this wire down here. This just makes it a little bit easier to access down here. These may require a little bit of coercion from, say, a flathead or a different pry tool first. So we can slide this. So on the driver's side, we're going to go ahead and zip tie our first one straight to this wiring harness here. Don't do it too tight, just so we can move the wire once it's done. And then how we had it ran before, we'll go ahead and do our next zip tie somewhere in the middle. And really this is just fastening the wire so it's not jostling when you're on the road. You can add additional zip ties as you see fit in case there's more wiring in your model vehicle. I typically add 3 to 4. And the last one we'll do after we get this hooked up to the next harness. So on the passenger side, we're going to be doing something similar. So on this side, there's 4 connectors. So one that goes to the factory plug, one that goes to the new headlight. This small plug here accepts the wire that's coming from the driver's side, and this is going to be wired to the fuse box, and I'll show you how to hook that up now. So once we move to the passenger side, we're going to do something very similar to the driver's side. Hook this one up here, and this is this plug here. We'll set this back in here, and then typically I will run the fuse wire up this direction, under here, and back towards the fuse box up there, and I'll show you which fuse to plug it into. And then from the driver's side headlight is this clip here, and we're going to plug it in right here and set that aside. I would probably zip tie this to one of the lines back here just to keep it safe while you're driving. So once we've hooked up all the connectors to the original factory wiring, we're going to go ahead and take our fuse loom here. We're going to go up and over the intake right here. So just fish this back. So we'll wire up over the intake here. We're going to zip tie to this wire right here. And then the way we want to route this is between the battery and the fuse box, because we want to come into the fuse box like this right here so we don't pinch any wires. So we'll go ahead and remove the top to the fuse box here. And we're going to be tapping in to fuse number 52, which is right here on the fuse box. There's currently, in this model Jeep, there's a 20 amp fuse, which we're going to take out and then reinsert into our add a fuse, and I'll show you how to do that. So fuse number 52 is going to be this 20 amp right here, and most cars will actually come with a fuse removal tool, which is awesome. But if you don't have one of these in your Jeep, you can use a pair of needle nose pliers. So we're going to go ahead and take out this 20 amp fuse here. Take the 20 amp fuse and we're going to move it into our add a fuse right here. Just give it a good firm push right there. So now you'll have the 10 amp fuse for the headlight circuit and this 20 amp fuse for number 52. So we're going to take our add a fuse and now we're going to go back and plug it right into where we removed that 20 amp fuse from. So now we're really done in the fuse box. We can put back our removal tool, wire this straight down here like so. And now we can go ahead and put our fuse box lid back on. It should snap into place and you're all set. We're going to go back and install the actual headlights. So we'll take our only remaining connector here. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And we'll take our box, take the piece of tape off on the back, and just mount it to the fender liner here, just so it's out of the way for when we push this back in. And now we can place those 3 10mm bolts back in, and we're pretty much done with the passenger side. So after we've got the headlight in place, we can go ahead and replace the 3 screws. There's a little tiny mounting tab right here. We want to make sure that's firmly seated in the hole so we don't misalign anything. Go ahead and get all 3 hand tight or just started with your gun. Now we'll go ahead and move to the driver's side. So when we're ready to mount our driver's side headlight, you can go ahead and take the tape off of here, and we can actually mount this right to the back of the headlight here. We have enough room back there. On the passenger side we do not, so that's why we had to zip tie it back. We can go ahead and fold this in. And then just coming through the back of here, we can actually just kind of make sure no wires are touching the AC compressor lines. And we're ready to bolt this back down. So once we've got the headlights fastened back in and plugged up, we're gonna go ahead and turn our ignition on. Now the ignition on only will bring on the halos, and then you gotta flip the switch to turn on your headlights. Go ahead and check that now. So we'll go ahead and put our shield back on here. And this has those 4 push clips right here. And those just give a firm push. And for the grille, there's actually these 6 right here, and you can see the 6 right here. So go ahead and tilt the grille in, line those up, and this just give this a push here, and all 6 should snap into place. And the 2 corners, you'll hear them snap into place as well, and we can go ahead and replace our clips up top. All right guys, so we just completed our LED halo and LED projector headlight upgrade on this 2020 Wrangler JL. As you can see, we have a full halo, and again, that stays on with the ignition, so it stays on all the time. And we have our full projector headlight. It was a pretty easy install. It took about 30 minutes, including some wiring. That's probably the hardest part. Check us out on Infotainment.com, where we have tons of videos and tons of products for our Jeep Wrangler and many more. Thanks for watching.